Hello, and welcome to Short Trip. You want to travel the world for months? That's what we all would love to do, but often we just can't afford the time. With Short Trip, we will show you how you can explore a country or a region in the shortest amount of time and take the most out of it on an individualized route. Of course, you're able to cut, adjust, or change the trip if you're on your own, according to your wishes. Traveling with us also means being on the road. We rarely spend more than one night in one place. So never forget, the way is the goal. And now lean back and let yourself be inspired.
Welcome to Iceland, or as one would say, in the land of fire and ice, Velkomin. The island nation, which lies a little south of the Arctic Circle, is fascinating for many reasons. Its remote location, the harsh weather, and of course, the fascinating landscape. Many tourists visit here during the summer months. During this period, the temperatures are most pleasant, with up to 13 degrees Celsius, and the days are longer. During the summer solstice on 21st of June, daylight lasts over 20 hours. During the winter solstice on 21st of December, however, the sun only rises at midday and sets again in the afternoon. In winter, Iceland has a very special atmosphere. Apart from the 356,000 inhabitants, there are only a few tourists visiting the country. Everything is covered with snow, and the sky regularly shows a special display of colours, the Northern Lights. But for our 8-day short trip, we chose spring instead of winter. The month of May is a good compromise between the colder and warmer seasons. There is often still snow, especially in the eastern regions. Since the popular Golden Circle in the south by then is not yet overcrowded by tourists. Furthermore, rental cars, accommodation and flights are sometimes cheaper than in the main season. Before we go on the journey together, 1,689 kilometers along the famous ring road in 8 days, here are a few tips. Remain flexible and, if possible, book accommodation that can be cancelled at short notice. The weather is changeable and the roads can be closed at short notice, even in May. The best way to explore Iceland is by car. However, please check with your car rental company in advance which roads you are allowed to use and how good your car is secured. Tours into the highlands are often completely off limits. This is no problem for us. After all, the roads to the highlands are closed until mid-June. Iceland has a good network of petrol stations. Regular refueling, even if the tank is still half full, is recommended. Also, make sure you have good and warm clothes, appropriate shoes, and always carry some food and water with you. You'll also need a little Icelandic looseness. With all of these, you'll be well prepared for your short trip. Our journey began at the Keflavik airport, and we went down the ring road to the Golden Circle, passing through the cities of Vik, Höfen, Egilsstaðir and Akureyri to the capital, Reykjavik. After our arrival, we enjoyed the rest of the day exploring the Reykjanes Peninsula near the Keflavik airport. A good place to relax after your flight is in the outdoor thermal pool, Blue Lagoon. We will stop for a walk and drive on to the Reykjanes Lighthouse. Our next destination, the bridge between the continents, which connects the Eurasian and the American continent. If you have a little more time, you can also explore the Reykjanes Folkvangur Natural Reserve. The second day, we drove along the Golden Circle to the Gullfoss waterfall and further to the small town of Selfoss, where we spent the night. During our morning walk in Keflavik, the icy wind blew against us. At least we were happy to have packed weatherproof clothes. After 90 minutes by car, we reached the Þingvellir National Park and were surprised. Even in May, there was snow in places. Since the park is located between the two continental plates, many canyons shape the landscape. Iceland's gradual conversion to Christianity was started here around the year 1000, while the pagans were still allowed to worship their Nordic gods in private. This prevented bloody conflicts. We continued to the Haukadalur Valley. This geothermal area is teeming with geysers, which at regular intervals provide a fascinating spectacle. As exciting as it is popular, the Gullfoss is a two-stage waterfall, which has been a protected natural attraction since 1979. We then continued along the Golden Circle to Selfoss, where we filled up our supplies and spent the night there. On our arrival, we were welcomed by curious Icelandic horses. On our 145-kilometre ride from Selfoss to the small village Vik, we had enough time for numerous highlights. The impressive waterfalls, Seljalandsfoss and Skógafoss, as well as the lava beaches near Vik. We reached the Seljalandsfoss in the morning and had an involuntary dance performance. The wet ground was still frozen. With due caution, we went round the 65-metre high Seljalandsfoss, since there is a small cave behind it. Fascinating. Only 30 kilometres further on is the much better known Skógafoss, very close to the volcano Eyjafjallajökull, which became world famous in 2010 after the emission of an enormous ash cloud. By the way, translated into English, Skógafoss means forest fall, but the forest we are talking about is no longer there today. A few kilometres before our destination, Vik, we passed one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, the lava beach, Reynisfjara. Even if you have not yet visited Iceland, you might have already seen this beach somewhere. This is where some scenes of the series Game of Thrones and the movie Rogue One, a Star Wars story were shot. But you should be careful when visiting this beach. The surf is unpredictable, so don't swim and keep your distance from the water. We spend the rest of our day in Vik and relax. If you have more time or want to go for a longer hike, we have another tip for you. The famous plane wreck of Sólheimassandur, known from a music video of the Icelandic band Sigur Rós, is only 25 kilometers away from Vik. However, to reach the wreck and get back to the road, you have to go on an 8-kilometer hike. We continued our journey in the best weather. From Vik, we went to Hofen. On our journey, we passed the Eltran lava field and visited the Svartifoss waterfall. Other attractions on our schedule, the Svinnafellsjökull glacier, the lake Jökulsárlón, and the fascinating Diamond Beach. Crossing the Eltran lava field, one feels like in a fairy tale. Created by the eruption of the Leki volcanic crater more than 250 years ago, the green moss landscape is a great photo scene today. Then we continued to the Svartifoss waterfall, which we reached in about 30 minutes on foot from the information centre, Skaftafell. The curved basalt columns that surround the waterfall are a special visual feature. We reached the Svineveldsjökull glacier via gravel road, a distance of almost 2 kilometers. A soft crackling indicates that the glacier, which appears in different colors depending on the incidence of light, is constantly in motion. Our special highlights were the Jökulsárlón Lake and neighbouring Diamond Beach. With an area of 18 square kilometres, the glacier lake is the largest and for us also the most beautiful in Iceland. Directly opposite is the magical volcanic beach, Diamond Beach. Icebergs drifting up from the Breda Merkurjökull glacier to land create fascinating sculptures. The appearance of the beach changes constantly. With a short stop in the Djúpivogur village, we set off the next day to the largest settlement in the east of Iceland, Egilsstaðir. Shortly after our departure, the weather got worse and snowfall started. We made a stopover in the small village Djúpivogur and decided to go directly to Egilsstaðir because of the weather conditions. The last 50 kilometers we drove through thick snow and with a lot of delay. We were glad to arrive at our accommodation in the evening. If the weather conditions are better, we would recommend a visit to the beautiful artist town, Seyðisfjörður, about 30 kilometers away from Egilsstaðir. A good 250 kilometers through the snow-covered countryside, the next day we headed for Akureyri, the fourth largest city in Iceland. Stopovers at the Dettifoss and Goðafoss waterfalls and the high-temperature area, Verarund, were also on our plan. Our trip through the icy landscape was a highlight in itself. No less exciting is the almost 30-kilometre long gravel road to the Dettifoss waterfall. When we reached the high-temperature area, Färöarund, we felt like we were on another planet. Rising steam, bubbling mud holes, the acrid smell of sulphur, and the many colours created a special atmosphere. With light snowfall, we reached the Goaberfoss. After arriving at Akureyri, we went for a little stroll through the town. After a walk along the ford Eyjafjörður near Akureyri, we started with our last big stage. Almost 400 kilometers along the well-developed road to Reykjavik, including a stopover at the Icelandic Seal Centre in the small village of Amstangi. During the long driving distance, we spent a lot of time in the car that day. However, we did take a small detour. At the Icelandic Seal Centre, there is information about the Icelandic seals. If you want, you can also book a boat tour and watch the animals up close. On our last day, we discovered Reykjavik with its atmospheric bars, cafes and shops, which was, for a capital, very calm. The Harpa Concert Hall and the Hallgríms Church, with its 73-metre high tower, are also worth visiting. Unfortunately, we did not have enough time to discover the beautiful Snæfellsnes Peninsula. If you plan to stay a little longer in Iceland, a visit is definitely worthwhile. It is time for us to say goodbye to a country full of culture, natural wonders and friendly people.
Perfect day for the road. The blue sky will take us home. We'll take it easy, we'll take it slow. It's a good day for the road. And time goes so fast when you're with the ones you love. But I won't worry today, even if time flies.